Hey everybody, welcome to the Collecting King Show. This is episode 33. And, usually I have a song title or a movie title, Elvis related, to call the show. And I just couldn't find anything that had anything to do with our subject today. We're going to be talking about all of the Elvis Presley releases on the Friday Music label. I couldn't come up with a title.
I couldn't think of one either.
Well, you wanted
Donna Summer. We like Donna Summer.
He wanted Donna Summer. We were going to call it "Thank God It's Friday" in honor of Donna Summer.
Yeah,
that's kind of weird. Thank God it's Friday music. I guess we could call it.
That's
that.
all right.
All right, that's all right.
Donna Summer's a legend too.
All right. So the title of this is "Thank God It's Friday Music," folks. That's the title of it. Episode 33, and my guest today is the one and only Johnny B. And I wanted to make sure that everybody understood this. Okay. I know I have some viewers out there who are from Chicago, so I just want to make sure that everybody understands that this Johnny B is not related to this Johnny B. Okay. A lot of people don't even know that. You do realize that this is where our age is probably showing, because a lot of people don't even know about Jonathan Brandmeier.
Yeah.
He was on the Loop, Chicago Loop radio. I even met him one time when I was promoting one of my films. But anyway, Johnny B, not to be mistaken for this Johnny B. All right, so are you okay?
All right.
You're good?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
This show he's going to really love, because I think the last time we did a show together, we were talking about all of the massive amount of releases that have been coming out. And we also talked about John's unique way of collecting, unusual way of collecting, whatever. But this is right up his alley, because this is the Friday Music label. All right. These are United States pressings, by the way,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And that's why, in some ways, I thought it was important to do this kind of show, because, there's probably a lot of collectors out there that are, beating their brains out trying to find Elvis's original catalog. Well, and I don't think they realize that the Friday Music releases are legitimate United States releases.
Yeah.
They're not imports. They're not like the FTDs, although I know everybody loves the FTDs, the collectors. And it's not like the DOL label or some of those unusual labels from Europe. Friday Music is a United States company.
They're licensed through Sony, RCA Legacy, or BMG, whatever. Yeah, that's how they were able to do it. Remember, we asked Ernst Jorgensen about that.
Right.
And he told us they had I asked him, I said, how is Friday Music doing what they're doing? And he said they have a contract with Sony. We didn't know how long or anything, but he said they had a contract with Sony. So
and even though they weren't being pressed, on RCA plant,
no.
They still have the RCA logo involved. So it's like they granted them permission, almost like RCA special products, right? Something kind of like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, folks, they're still United States pressing. So I thought it'd be a great idea to do a show on the Friday Musics. And by the way, I think they're mentioned in Presleyanna.
Yes, we put them in the last 6 years ago, the ones that were out at that time that we knew about. I had them because I collect them.
Right.
And so we put every one that we put it in book.
Right. And we're going to show you some of the really rare ones that a lot of you may not even know exist. But anyway, let's start off with talking about a little bit about the history of the Friday Music label. I got this off the internet, but this will give you an idea of how it all started. Some 20 years ago, Friday Music founder Joe Ragusa, right?
Yes,
Ragusa. Throughout his lifetime, Ragusa had worked promotion for many record labels, eventually turning his passion into creating Friday Music in 2002 and releasing the label's first records in 2003. Friday Music has released a lot of album titles from Elvis's RCA catalog over the years, as well as releasing other classic album titles from artists like Chicago, The Monkees, Twisted Sister, Jefferson Starship, Carly Simon. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And even though it appeared that Elvis was their #1 best-selling artist, Friday Music apparently lost their contract agreements with Sony BMG to release RCA's LPs here in the United States.
Two of the earliest one that I remember was from Elvis in Memphis and Girl Happy.
Okay.
Right here.
Those were the first ones?
Those are the ones that I remember seeing this. Because I was trying to think back of how I discovered Friday Music, and I can't remember for the life of me. I don't remember if I saw it online or an article or if I saw them in the store. I don't remember now how I started seeing
Well, they
them.
were in stores.
Yeah, they
right?
were in. Oh, yeah, they were in stores.
Because I remember going to record stores in Chicago, and
Yeah, they were.
and I'm flipping through, and here's these records.
And then online. I bought a lot of them through Elusive Disc in Indiana. There's a store in Anderson, Indiana, online called Elusive Disc.
I really didn't know them until you showed them to me.
Yeah.
And you know, I know you love keeping things sealed, but you had to have one open, because one time you showed me an open one.
Yeah, I had some.
And I thought, well, what's this? And you opened up, oh, look
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah.
And they would have the album cover, the front and the back of the RCA original release on the cover, and then you opened it up, and then the inside cover was usually the 45
either a
picture
45
sleeve.
sleeve if it went with the album, or sometimes it was just a big full color picture of Elvis. It's either those two, either that or the 45.
And I thought that was strange. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never heard of a company that put out Elvis records and just made a gatefold for the sake of making a gatefold.
Well, that's why I liked them, though,
You know.
because they were unusual.
But there was
because
no- there
they
was-
were gatefold.
But there was no information in
No,
there.
no information.
It's just you open
They're
up,
just
there's
the
two
basic,
pictures.
They're then the thing is too, Friday Musics have no alternate cuts like the FTDs.
Right,
It's
it's just
the
the
standard.
album.
It's the standard album. That's all. No alternates.
I remember people having a debate on how poorly pressed they were and how they didn't sound that well.
Well,
is that I know
somewhat.
you don't play.
I don't.
He doesn't
yeah.
play records.
I can tell you from what I asked just recently. I talked to Gary Brown, our friend Gary in Tennessee, and Gary said they sound at the beginning. He said they were good. He likes the quality of them, but he also had a problem in the beginning of them being dished.
Oh,
They were warped a little, and sometimes he would send them back because he said in the beginning the quality was not the greatest. He said later on it improved, but he said he always liked the quality.
all right. Well, let's get back to the releases. All right, they started off with like "Girl Happy" and
Friday.
and this one here, what, from Elvis in Memphis?
These were all in black.
Would you say about like maybe half of them?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'd say about
10
half of
or 12?
yeah, 10 or 12 in the beginning.
They were in black.
When they started doing the newer titles, they were on two colors. They never went back and did some of the other early ones on color. They never did a low on color. They never did That's the Way It Is or Girl Happy or From Elvis in Memphis. They never went back.
Oh, they never
And
did.
no.
I guess the big question is, why do you think at one point they decided to stop going with the black and just switch everything to
Well,
color?
the trend seemed to be color. Color was coming. The color vinyl seemed
Everything's
to be,
color now.
Yeah, everything is. So that just seemed to be, and then that was kind of because every time they did an Elvis album, they did it two ways. For a period there, it would come out in gold or blue, or whatever. There would be two of each. Moody Blue was Friday Music followed what, as far as I can tell, they followed what RCA did.
yeah.
They released it on blue. I know it was because I bought it. This I know. Because I'm not that old. I remember 77. But I know when I bought Moody Blue, I bought it through Elusive Disc, and it said in parentheses, blue vinyl. I ordered it. It came blue.
Everybody knows the famous Moody Blue story. It's a short period of time on blue, went to black, and then went back to blue. It was interesting because the black was very short. It was a very short run, and that's the rarer, because right after Elvis died, they went into full-blown blue vinyl. And and they didn't stop, or didn't go back to black until the AQL 1 reissue. I wonder what they were thinking. I mean, were they thinking, you know what, here, let's do something cool.
I think they must have.
Let's do it on blue, and we're going to do a short run of black.
My biggest complaint about Friday Music is, and many people will know this when they'll see this, a lot of them were never advertised. They didn't advertise the color. We found them by mistake. What happened is I went online and Elusive Disc said Moody Blue, and in parentheses it said black vinyl. I said, what? So I called them. They said, yes, we have a handful of the black vinyl. So I said, well, I ordered it. And I think I told Gary and a couple other, and we ordered it. And sure enough, it came black. And then a little bit later on, I was going to order another one. I ordered it, and they sent me, and it came blue. It was gone.
And then it became elusive.
And then it's like you
Right?
found. We only know of 5 known copies to this point. You found 2 in Chicago. I
Right.
found this one in Memphis, Tennessee, and Gary Brown and our friend George Young owned the other black, and they got him from Elusive Disc. Okay, so we only know of this is it for those people. Should I take it out?
Yeah, you should show them the vinyl.
They never promoted this. And remember, we went to Graceland shops. They
I
had
know.
about 30 Moody Blues, and we checked every one,
They were all
and
blue.
every one was blue.
Yeah.
So this, I don't know how many of these they only printed. only maybe a handful. I don't know. But it does exist, folks. There it is. It is on black. The majority you'll find are blue.
So would you say, in your opinion, that that's the rarest of the Friday musics?
Promised Land on red. This is pretty darn rare.
And you've not seen it on red since?
Because they stopped printing them.
Okay, but did it start on another color?
It started gold. The first was gold.
Okay, now I remember that because I've seen that.
The gold. The first was gold.
So you're saying that you're saying there was a short run of red?
I guess they never promoted it. When you went to Friday Music website, they never promoted this stuff. That's what I didn't like about, some of these releases came out and we found this totally by accident on red. The way that you could tell it, because they were in a baggie, can you see it in the light? I don't know if they'll be able to see. You can see the red.
See, I can see it, but
you can see it. I don't know if they'll pick that up.
Well, the baggie has to be just in the right position.
Some of them come down a little bit. This one doesn't.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
I mean, I could probably zoom in on it and see if you can see it, but it's right there, and you can see the red.
It's definitely red.
But this is the only way.
That's the only way. Unless of course, most people open them. I mean, you couldn't open them in the store. You couldn't rip them open and say, "Well, sir, in the store, I want to see what color this is. Can you open it up?"
Yeah.
So you had to shake them down like this.
Well, you know who used to open them all the time?
Curtis Simpkins. If you go to Curtis, if he still has some of them up, Curtis Simpkins and the posters. He
used to open them up and show the covers and the record. So let's talk about the posters here. This was only limited to how many albums?
About 3 or 4 of them on stage. I want to say
International
Hotel, and perhaps Elvis Now.
They were basically posters that were put inside, and I think they're 24 by 24. Because when you open them up, it was like 4 albums.
Yeah, they were very big. They were blank on the back, white, and then they were just a picture of the cover.
I didn't even know the posters existed because, again, folks, I was not into the Friday musics at all. Kind of reconsidering that now that I've learned, I've done some research, but I never really knew much about it. So whenever we watched Curtis Simpkins had his show, he would open them up, and that's how I saw the posters. I didn't know.
Yeah.
The only way I knew there were posters was he showed them, and then I would talk to you about it, and you'd say, "Oh yeah, there's a poster."
Yeah. Well, the Lucid Disc the places used to write on there. They used to get the information from the reps, so they would say there's a poster inside because there was never a sticker on them.
Right.
There's no sticker on it that says there's a poster included.
Right.
They never did that.
That's another thing.
That's another stupid thing.
That pisses me off.
I don't get that, Friday.
Because you would think Friday Music would at least tell you what color. Like color vinyl. Like even in the European records, just about every European record that's out there, the DOLs and the other ones, they always put a sticker that says red vinyl, blue vinyl,
something. Or some of
vinyl.
them just say limited color and they don't say the color.
Right, yeah, even what was that other? Not Now records?
Not Now, yes.
They would always put at the bottom, they'd put colored vinyl or white vinyl or red.
Yes. These were shrink wrapped, and the reason they were shrink because they do have the book inside. But the book is loose, and they didn't want it flopping around, I think, because of the baggie, so they shrink wrapped all of these. This is the original. This is the black vinyl. The only way you knew by shaking it down. This was one of the originals too.
But that was in the baggie.
No, this is shrink wrapped too.
No, well, how do you know it's black then?
Because that's what it was originally released as black. They said it was black. The reps on the site said black. Okay. So that's what they were told.
All right.
That's how the guy at Lucid Disc told me that's how they always knew what it was because the people the Friday Music that was sending him said this is what it is. This is black. Trust me.
Okay.
And then these came out. Then they decided, I don't know why, they went crazy one Christmas and then they released this one on white. Now it says it because it has a white sticker. So it's white vinyl. And then they released. Isn't this a lot of fun?
Let's keep going.
Then they released it on red to make you. Of course, again, this was to make you spend a lot of money.
Yes, of course.
We're suckers, and so So I had to buy it on red. And then this one they did. The final one was green, but you could only get this through Amazon. That's the only way to order it.
Now, does it say Amazon on there?
No, it does not. But that's the only way you could get it.
That's weird.
Information from Friday. You had to just do your own research. That's how we found all of these.
Wow.
That's what I loved them, but they were a pain in the ass. Let me tell you.
So how many Christmas albums then in different colors? 5?
There's 5. And of course, these were about when these all came out, we should tell they were like $32, $33 was the original poster.
These were the only ones that you know that had stickers.
Blue Hawaii came out on black, and then we discovered this by accident. Blue. With a blue sticker.
Oh.
Yeah. And this was also shrink wrap. I don't know why. The black is in a baggie. The blue was in the shrink wrap.
That's so weird.
And it came with the sticker.
Why would they put stickers on just certain
I
ones
don't know.
and they give it up?
I don't know. So now there's other ones.
All right, well let's talk about this, folks. Eventually what happened was Friday Music must have had contracts with certain stores. Books A Million, there were certain ones that were released, or Friday Music did it for them, and they were exclusive.
This was the NBC TV special. Comes with a sticker. It says BAM on the sticker.
Right, BAM.
You know,
right.
That's why these, again, no advertising on Friday Music on these.
Yeah,
we discovered them online. Other people wrote about them.
I found them at the store.
Then
just looked in the Elvis section.
And then here's another one. White. It's on.
That's white vinyl.
Yeah,
right?
It was a white vinyl, but it has a black sticker. But this was the Gold Records 2. And I can't remember if there was another one.
I think Gold Records 5.
Now this one's interesting. This one says it's red, but it's gold.
That's right.
It was also a mistake.
Yeah.
They put a red sticker and saying it's red vinyl. This was also Books A Million, but it's not red.
So how many Books A Million were there? 3?
3 or 4. And then we get into the Barnes & Noble.
It's a popular bookstore in the United States.
Because remember, Barnes & Noble had something called Vinyl Week. Remember,
right.
they had a special week where they promoted, and we just happened to go online, and I saw that's how I discovered the first one. And this was this was Elvis's back.
That's the first one?
It's on blue. Yeah.
That was the first one they did for Barnes & Noble.
I think this was the first one they did.
Okay.
And then they did Loving You next.
Okay.
They did the Barnes & Noble for Loving You about maybe a year later.
And what color is that? Blue?
I think it's blue, yeah.
Okay.
And then this was the last one they did was Good Times on red. This does say red.
It does say red.
Yes, it does say red.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then the one behind me, King Creole.
And then they did, they did 4. They did King Creole. Can't remember the color.
I'm trying to remember too. I almost bought it.
A couple of them said what the color was, but some of them didn't. But again, we discovered those. Friday never promoted them. They never mentioned them on their website.
Friday Music always made me wonder, like with Walmart. Walmart's got all these different colored vinyls, okay, and they put the sticker on there. And here's like the latest one. This is the new Christmas album one for 2023. And like I said, new Christmas album, not really new. I mean, it's the original Christmas album, but it's a single pocket, right? It's not a double, and but it's green vinyl, and it says it's green vinyl.
And speaking of that, I mean, like with Sony, the reason I show this one, this one at least, this is really good quality. Unlike the Sony one that just came out, the Aloha that they released, they actually made this one, folks. This is a die cut. Okay, the new one that came out, they didn't make it a die cut. Okay, they reproduced this one faithfully, Friday Music.
So is this black?
This is a black. This is one of the early ones they did. Yep, no, it's not a quad.
That would be interesting, huh?
But it even has their number. See it down the bottom. It says FRM. They all said.
Right.
But I mean, it's 180 grams. See, it says 180 gram on the back.
Yeah.
This is really nice quality. But I'm just saying, as compared to the new Sony that they just put out, where they didn't make it a die cut. They did change the inner sleeves, but this was, and of course the back is the same too.
And I have to point out that even though the records covers look almost identical to RCA, with the exception of being gatefold, you can always tell by the catalog number. It's FRM.
Yeah, they all say FRM.
Now is it FRM and then the original RCA number?
Yeah.
Is it 1254?
This is the 1254. FRM 1254.
Oh, okay, all right.
No, they were the original
catalog.
catalog.
So we're assuming that all of the Friday Musics used the numbers from the original RCA releases, right?
Yep.
But instead of LPM or LSP, it was they would do FRM, right?
Yes. They only did this album once, as far as I know, the 1254. And now, see, this says mastered by Joe Ragusa.
And this guy's out of California, right?
Yes, these are all printed in California.
I think I heard somewhere Ian McQuillan had said something.
Yeah, the plant's like half hour from his house.
Yeah, it's a half hour from his house.
Yeah.
So Ian, if you're watching,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure I'd read or heard you say that in an interview or something, that Friday Music's not too far away. I don't know if you know this Joe guy, If you do, then you'll know if we're saying his name right. But yeah, so he's like this local guy in California that got all the rights to these record labels. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, he put out how many albums for Elvis? Like 20 something albums.
I want to say at least there was
Different
20.
titles?
I should have. Yeah, I want to say at least 20, 22 different titles.
Yeah, I mean,
about how many? That's not half of Elvis's Elvis catalog. Is bigger than that, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's more. It's bigger than. I mean, was it 50 or 60? God, we should know that. We should know what exactly how many Elvis albums there were.
Yeah.
Please edit this out because we're looking stupid right now. So you can edit this out.
At one point, Friday Music lost their license with Sony. BMG, because I remember we talked to Ernst, and we mentioned this before, in Memphis, and he explained to us that, of course, they were licensing out Elvis's catalog to Friday Music. So it must have ran out at one point, because remember, there was an announcement at one point about upcoming Friday Music releases,
yes,
and this was one of them.
Yeah.
This here was supposedly going to be released by Friday Music. And I remember I actually thought it was cool. I thought, oh, wow, they're going to release the box set, But it never happened. All of a sudden, Friday Music stopped. And I remember you told me it stopped and everything. So isn't it kind of ironic that this is actually music on vinyl?
Apparently, Friday Music expired, and then Music on Vinyl picked it up.
Right, and they continue to do that, right?
They've got a new one coming out back in Memphis. Is coming out.
It's almost as if the Friday Music records were so popular and they were doing so well in sales. It's almost like RCA or Ernst or whoever was in charge said, why are we licensing this stuff out to them? Let us put it out. But this was a great set. I mean, I think I mentioned this on a previous show, but I just loved it when this came out, and I got it right away. I think it's still available, but you could get it. And again, it's music on vinyl. Tell everybody, go through the list of what was released on Friday Music.
Elvis Presley, 1254, only on blue. Then there was Elvis, 1382, only on black. Loving You was on black, gold, and blue. Okay, so there's 3 Loving Yous.
Oh, man.
Yes. For LP fans only, there were 2, red and gold. Elvis Golden Records Volume 1, there is a black and there is a red. Blue Hawaii, there is 2, black and there is a blue with the sticker.
Right, with the sticker.
Then there's a date with Elvis, only black. Then they did Elvis Gold Records Volume 2, there's a white and a black, and one was the BAM. Mm-hmm. Then the Christmas album I showed, there's the 5. The original on black, then there's a green, red, blue, and the white. That's the way it is, only on black. Mm-hmm. From Elvis in Memphis, only black. He Touched Me, only on red. I think there's only one, unless we miss some. This is what we think we have. I think I have them all. Mm-hmm. But who knows? The way Friday Music did it, we might have missed something.
Well, you might have missed a color.
We might. It's possible. Once somebody's, when they're watching this, once they see this list, if they have a different color, let us know.
Yeah.
Especially, definitely. I like if somebody has Moody Blue. Who else out there has Moody Blue on black? Because we only know of 5 copies right now.
Right.
Girl Happy, only black. Moody Blue, there was the blue and the black. Aloha, just black. Roustabout, just orange. King Creole was gold, red, and black.
So the Barnes and Noble one is
the Barnes and Noble. The Barnes and Noble was gold. The Barnes and Noble was gold.
That's what I thought.
And then there was a red, and then the original first press of it was black. Then the NBC TV special, they did a black. Mm-hmm. And then they did 2 more. They did a red and a blue. There's 3 NBC TV special. Black, red, and blue. Then they did gold 5. It says it's red, but it's a mistake. It's really blue.
Right, I remember that.
And then they did the black, and then they released the 3rd one was a gold. So gold. Why Gold Records 5 had 3? I don't know, but they did. Then there was Elvis in Person. It's on a blue-white swirl, and I guess there was just one. And then they did Elvis on Stage, a blue-black swirl. Good Times, there was a blue swirl and a red swirl of Good Times. And one was the Barnes & Noble exclusive. Then they did His Hand in Mine on a swirl. From Elvis Presley Boulevard on gold and one on red. Elvis Now, too. A blue clear swirl and a white clear swirl. People are going nuts right now. They're thinking, oh my God, I have to collect all of these? And then there was Raised on Rock, which was on clear. Then there was Promised Land 2 on the red and gold. Then there was GI Blues, a gold, and then a yellow, kind of like the blue was like a blue swirl. GI Blues was on yellow as well, too. Then there was Elvis's Back on blue. Now, that was interesting. Barnes & Noble, Friday Music did that one twice. The first one was the Barnes & Noble that came with a sticker. Then they released it in the stores with no sticker, but it was still blue vinyl. Why they didn't change the vinyl on that, I don't know. So I remember that one because it came out, and I said, oh, here it is in the store. But I said, it's got to be a different color. And I looked, and that's the one I didn't buy because it was the same color as the Barnes. And I thought the Barnes was cooler because the Barnes has the sticker. As far as we know, this is what's available on Friday. Now, if anybody has a color that's not mentioned here, please let me know.
All right, so kind of wrapping up things on Friday Music. Let's wrap it up by saying, what do you think are the most rarest and valuable? Let's start with what of the Friday Musics do you think are the rarest of those releases? We know Black Vinyl Moody Blue
I'd
is
say
number
Moody.
one.
And then I would say the Books A Million ones because they were only available a short time. Any of those ones that were exclusive. The Barnes and Nobles are highly sought after, I would think, and the Books
of the
Millions.
stickers,
right?
Got great
and the
stickers.
Blue Hawaii. It was a general release. It was in the stores, but it came on blue with it. They did signify it with a sticker. So that one I think.
So a lot of them with stickers are pretty.
The ones with the stickers, I'd say,
are valuable.
But if you go back
or rare,
if you go back in time, the early ones that they did too, they were only on black. That's the way it is. Aloha from Hawaii. I mean.
Well, what about the? You just showed me 5 Christmas albums.
I'm sorry. And then the 5.
I mean, those have got to be. They're gone, right?
They're gone. All of these are gone until some of them appear on eBay every now and then. I saw an Aloha from Hawaii seal. Some guy he wanted $150 for it.
All right. So do you think? Then I guess it comes down to this. Do you think Follow That Dream albums are getting big bucks?
Yeah, big.
Bucks.
I
mean, once those things are gone and deleted. People are paying a lot for them.
Yeah.
I would say the more recent ones like Fun in Acapulco or Kid Galahad, some of those, the ones that are basically still available. $60, $70.
Yeah.
But the minute you start getting back into years like 2019, 18, 17, the further you go back, they go up $100. Over $100. Maybe even 2. So what would you say about these? I mean, these are gone.
The reason they're going up is because people missed them. And people didn't know. So what do you think people are saying now about the Friday Musics who missed these? So, what is something worth? It's worth what somebody's willing to pay.
Right. Well,
somebody might be willing to pay, $500 for this, the Moody Blue, or somebody might be willing to only pay $50.
Right.
I don't. I can tell you, some of these are in the book, and they're in there for like $50, $60. Yeah, they've got to. I'm sorry, I'm going to be biased. If people are going to pay $500 or $600, $700 for some of these FTDs, I don't know why they wouldn't pay it for the Friday Musics.
On certain ones.
Yeah. Remember what I asked Ernst? Oh no, Roger, who works on the FTDs. I asked him. Remember at the beginning, how many of the FTDs do you print? Remember what he told us? 2,000. And he said we have extra covers, but we did 2,000. Now some of the later FTDs have been in the 3,000. Remember, I sent them the limited ones. But so I have no idea how many the Friday Musics were pressed. Okay, if you take some of the early ones, how many did they do from Elvis in Memphis or Girl Happy? I have no idea. I have no clue what the numbers. Maybe somebody if somebody sees this who works for Friday Music, they can let us know of what they pressed.
You know what? Now you made me think of another subject we can kind of wrap up with. What do you think about, and this is with all due respects to Ed, King's Court, what do you think about those test pressings of Friday Musics?
Well,
because I'll tell you my opinion, okay? All right, again, with all due respect, okay, this is my opinion as a collector and et cetera. I don't know what the big deal is. I mean, the whole point of it is I understand that they had to make some test pressings to see if they worked. I don't know if they're worth like megabucks, and I know that Ed was selling some, and he got fairly good money, I would imagine, for them. But in my opinion, it's like, because of the fact that it's a company like Friday Music, it's not really RCA.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a test pressing of a title of a record that's made just by RCA Special Products or something like that. Would it be as valuable as a test pressing of From Elvis Presley Boulevard, if there was one? I don't think so. But I just don't think they're much of a big deal. What do you think about these test pressings?
I personally kind of liked it. I remember when he first, I had some correspondence with Ed about him, and I wanted to get some of them, but at the time he wasn't selling them. And because I thought they were cool. Since I had these, I thought they were kind of ugly. The label was just kind of plain.
Yeah,
there wasn't much to look at. But I thought they were neat. I thought they, but at the time he didn't want to sell them. Now later, our friend Gary, he bought two of them for $500. He paid $250 a piece.
I know.
So again, what are they worth? I wouldn't want to pay that, but if somebody wants them, they're worth what somebody's willing to pay.
Yeah.
I say to Ed, hey, good, you got a good price for them. Hey,
of course, it goes back to the golden rule about what one person's willing to pay and another person's willing to sell. That's the golden rule of collecting. But beyond that, if it were to go in Presliana, would that be something that we would, if we were to do the next edition, would we put these?
The test pressings?
Test pressings in there? And
I think they would definitely go in the book. They should definitely, they exist. We know they exist. They should go in the price guide. I'll say this. They're obviously these are worth more than what their issue price was. Okay. So these Friday Musics were issued at $32, and I think at the end, the last ones, the roustabout was like $36. So you tell me.
If you found a test pressing of an Elvis record, right, from RCA, right away you attach a big amount to it. So there's a rule, like find a test pressing of an RCA record, up it goes, without even thinking, let's see what it sells for here or sells for there. I mean, we've been doing this for such a long time, we would just say, that's got to be worth that. That's kind of a standard assumption on something as rare as something that comes from RCA. Same way.
No, because it's not Elvis's official label.
Right.
It's not an official release.
Right.
But they're certainly worth, I think, they're worth money.
I agree. No, I agree. I'm not saying they're not rare. Gary paid $500 for
around
two
$500
of them. That's what Gary wanted to pay. So, that's fine. Would I pay that? No. No, I would not. To each their own. And I'm not putting down anybody for anything that they buy or collect. I'm just saying on a regular collecting scale, would that be considered, a mega rare thing? And in my opinion, I would say no.
I don't think the Friday Music should be shortchanged compared to the FTDs either. Because if the FTDs are getting, people are paying $400, $500, $600 for Blue Hawaii, then what are some of these Friday Musics that are gone now? They're sold out.
I've seen some Friday Musics go for maybe not hundreds of dollars, but I've seen them go higher than what they originally sold for. What was the going price of a regular Friday Music? But like $30?
They were issued around $30, $32, and I think at the end they were around $36.
Okay, because I've seen some go in eBay auctions for as much as 60 or 70. Like double, the price.
If the demand goes up after this show, then they're going to go they're going to go up. If people just don't like them. Listen, I'm kind of a bias toward Elvis was an American artist and Friday's an American pressing. Okay, so I kind of give that some weight compared to the FTDs. I love.
And it did a pretty big portion of his catalog.
Yeah, and they did a lot.
In the United States.
They might go back. Who knows? Yeah. They might end up with another contract. I thought they were going to do his whole catalog. It looked that way, and then it ran out. So who knows? Maybe Friday Music will. I hope they go back, and maybe they'll get another contract. I think they're kind of sleeper items that people. And now, like I said, if the same thing happens, That's the way it goes.
Are we done now?
They're sleeping. How?
He could just do a whole show promoting Friday music.
Well,
what's his name? Ruggiero?
Raguso.
So Joe,
I'm promoting.
Joe, listen, if you need a PR guy for your records, I think you got him right here.
I could do a better job than what they did. I can tell you that, because I would if I printed something and went to the trouble of making something, I'd let people know it exists.
Uh-huh.
Half the things I read on this, I guarantee people don't even know exist.
Yeah. See how excited he is, folks? He's kind of like, it's like Christmas morning for him talking about the Friday music. So, you should be happy I decided to do a show on this. You were actually able to get,
they're
get all
underrated.
excited.
They're underrated.
And you didn't bring all of them.
I've got most of them.
He's got a box here, folks. You can't see it, but he's got a box down there.
No, I left most of them at home. I just brought some of the unusual ones.
Can you imagine how many records this guy's got at home?
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a turntable, so they're all mint, all sealed.
They're all sealed and mint, and that's it. Well, hey.
All right, I think we're about done. I think this kind of wraps up the show here. There is a good point being made here. I think the Friday Musics are, being that they're United States releases and everything, I do think they'll go up in value. I really do. And I think they're like a future big collectible that's going to happen somewhere down the road, because there's just so many of them and they're gone and you can't find them. But as you could tell, there's so many variations. Hopefully today's show that we give you enough information so that you have a good idea of what to look for on eBay or record shows or record stores or whatever for the Friday Musics. So that about wraps it up, John.
All
right. So anything else you want to add?
Just let us know about the Moody Blue if more copies are out there, and if you have a different color, once you see if somebody's got a color we don't know about, let us know. Mm-hmm. And if you have a double, let me know, because I want to buy it.
Yeah, and I mean you could just send him into Orgasm if you could find something new. Just write it down below. I'll send it to him, and he'll just go nuts.
But don't take that Vaseline thing too seriously. The King Vaseline. I'll pay a certain amount, but not. Not too much. But.
Yeah. Now watch. I'll get all this email and stuff going. Well, I've got the rare purple vinyl, and you'll go, what? Purple?
Believe me, I'll go nuts.
Purple.
We try. Hey, I wouldn't surprise. I can say this. It wouldn't surprise me, because Friday Music was crazy the way they did it.
Well, I think it's just a part of the way things are with all these colored vinyls. Everybody's doing it now. Even Follow That Dream did it. So, all right, folks. Thanks for watching the show, and I am Robert Alaniz. This is Johnny B, and we're out of here.